Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about all of the books that I've been reading this summer. I am so fortunate to be able to do a lot of traveling this summer. I've already taken a trip to Europe. Today I leave for Nashville, and next week I'm going on a cruise to Hawaii, which is just absolutely amazing. I'm so beyond blessed. And with a lot of travel comes a lot of reading and downtime. So I have quite a few books to update you guys on. So I'm just gonna do kind of rapid fire because there's quite a few to get through and I still need to pack. I'm leaving in like 2 hours. So first up, I'm just gonna go through the series of Unfortunate Events books that I read. These are just, again, so simple but elegant. The way that they're written by Lemony Snicket, they're absolutely superb. If you wanna watch my last video where I update you on getting back into the series of Unfortunate Events books, and I will list it down below. So I read the next 4 books, which includes The Reptile Room, The Wide Window, The Miserable Mill, and The Austere Academy. And every single one of these I gave 5 stars, just like the first one. I need to get back on these. I was listening to these at the end of the school year on audiobook, and they're just absolutely phenomenal. They're fast-paced. The writing is just like, again, so elegant and so simple, but also like just beautiful writing. Seriously obsessed with them. Highly recommend each and every one of them. Moving on to some other books outside of the series of Unfortunate Events, I read Ship of Fools by Tucker Carlson. The subheading is How a Selfish Ruling Class is Bringing America to the Brink of Revolution. Now, if you don't know who Tucker Carlson is, he was on Fox News, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comments about the whole fiasco that went with him being fired from Fox News. I'm just curious how you feel about all of it. I always loved watching Tucker Carlson. I thought that he was just smart, you know, and he is similar, I think, to Trump in a lot of ways, where he's not afraid to speak his mind. And I also think that he, like this book is saying, I mean, Trump is a part of the higher class, so it's a little bit different, I guess. And obviously Tucker Carlson is too. I'm sure that he was making bank working for Fox News. But I think both of them recognize like how stupid the upper class is. And of course, Tucker Carlson goes into the typical like talking points of these higher class politicians, you know, wagging their finger at people for not caring about the Green New Deal or the energy crisis and just pollution in general and global warming, you know, but they will go and fly on their private jet for like a 1-hour flight. So 5 stars, highly recommend it. This was also an audiobook that I listened to, read by him, adored it, so good. The next book that I listened to was Between the World and Me by, I know I'm gonna get this name wrong, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Now, this book was just absolutely absurd to me. So I listened to this because Tucker Carlson talked about this book and Coates in general in his book. And my husband had to read this book for one of his college classes. That brings up a whole new discussion of why on earth is this like in a college class? Like I can't remember what the class was / why it's relevant to him because his degree is in cybersecurity. So it makes no sense. Colleges are just propaganda. But this book was just very strange to me. It's just the typical victim mentality story. So Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing this letter to his son, essentially talking about the struggles of him being a black man in America. Something Coates always says is black bodies. And I don't know where he got this like phrase from, you know, but all he talks about is how the world sees him for his black body, and that's all he is to the world. And I think that him like kind of dehumanizing himself in that way and just making him like a black object almost, I think that that's him trying to force us to empathize with him and, you know, like us be like, wow, how sad. Like he's not being seen as a father and intellectual. He's just being seen as a black being. That didn't work on me. I saw right through it. I was like, this is so ridiculous. And it's just something that happens so often where, I mean, I do it in my day-to-day life, you know, if it's not like political or has anything to do with race, you know, we put words in people's mouths and that's what he's doing. He's just like making all of these assumptions about the people around him and how they have treated him, or even not treated him, just looked at him, or how he thinks that people are perceiving him. I read it a little while ago. I have notes in my phone. If you want to see a deeper video about my thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. I also did not rate this book. And generally speaking, when I read like political books that I know I will have a bias towards, which like that sounds bad because I have a bias towards Tucker Carlson because I like him and I am a conservative. And I rate books like that, like conservative books, I will rate like 5 stars. I mean, well, I won't always give them 5 stars, you know, because I want to be unbiased, but I'm willing to help them, you know, and be a positive influence on that author as opposed to being a negative influence on the authors that I already know that I'm probably not going to agree with. So for example, like with Ta-Nehisi Coates, I didn't rate it because I know that if I rated it, it would be like 1 or 2 stars. I just think that that's not fair because there's obviously a bias going into it. So I didn't rate it. Another book like that was, where was it? I forgot. How to Be an Anti-Racist. I read that last year, didn't rate that again because there was a bias going into it. And I was just like, I can have a clear conscience by not doing that and just trash talk it on YouTube. So then I have 3 more books. 2 are Monk books. I read Mr. Monk Goes to Hawaii and Mr. Monk Gets Even. These are both written by Lee Goldberg, who I love. I love Monk. I love Lee Goldberg. If you have never read a Monk book, I highly recommend it. Monk is about this guy, Adrian Monk. It was a TV show on USA, and then the books were written afterwards. And he's an OCD detective living in San Francisco. And first one, he goes to Hawaii. Second one is in San Francisco. And there's so many. There's like maybe 16, 17 of these books. There's another author that took over eventually. But they're just literally so phenomenal. He is such an amazing author. I just think that it's funny. Oh my gosh, and I also just realized, I don't think I put another book that I had read on here on Goodreads. I need to add it right now. It's Mr. Monk Gets on Board. This is a 3rd Adrian Monk book. This is the new author by Hy Conrad. And this was also amazing about Mr. Monk getting on a cruise. Just think of an OCD homicide detective and how funny that is. And if you think it sounds fun, you'll love it. So basically his OCD is what makes him an amazing detective because he can see everything in the world that is out of place. And he's just funny, he's quirky. If you've seen the TV show, then you're definitely going to love the books. I think that a part of why I love the book so much is the TV show because Tony Shalhoub plays him and he is just in my mind's eye playing out the monk in the book, which just makes it even funnier to me. But highly recommend, very funny. Next book, last book, and all of those were 5-star reviews. I read Shady Hollow by Juno Black. I just picked this book up on a whim when I was out at Barnes & Noble with my sister because we loved the cover so much, and I almost wish that I had saved this to read during fall because it's such a cozy type mystery. But essentially it kind of reminds me of The Wind in the Willows, which is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. There's animals just living basically human lives, and a murder takes place, and this fox, who is a reporter for the newspaper, she takes it upon herself to figure out who the murderer is. And there's a little bit of romance, just cute, cozy vibes, different types of animals that are just adorable, little coffee shops, takes place in the forest. If you love cute little books like that, definitely recommend. Save it for fall though. And I think it's a series. I think there's 3 books. So hopefully the next 2 are just as cozy as this one and I can read those when fall comes around. So that's it for all of my books. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know that I will be reading a lot more on my trip to Tennessee and to Hawaii. And if you want to see more of what I've been reading, then definitely subscribe, like this video, and let me know what books I should read next. Bye.